Three, two, one. This is Nick.
And this is Amanda.
And this is the Performance Plate Podcast, where we give you bite-sized bits of information based on nutrition and exercise science to improve your overall performance. Welcome back to another episode of the Performance Plate Podcast. On this fun episode, we are going to talk about social media, Amanda and I's thoughts about social media, how it can be used to benefit you, how there are some pitfalls with it, what we think. But before we get into that, Amanda, what was your first ever post on not your business page, your personal page?
Okay, so I had to scroll all the way back, and it was my dog, Buster, right after he got neutered with the big cone around his head. And the caption is, "Moment of silence for the poor guy who lost his manhood today," from January 5th,
That's
15th,
amazing.
2014.
That's amazing. What's even wilder is so mine was March 12th, 2012. And it was a picture of me hiking, and I don't know what it
Classic.
was. And it was literally like the cool things, the caption says the cool things you see when hiking. And all it is rocks. And I'm like, what? And there's only one like on it, and it's Leanne, my now fiance, but at that time we were just friends. I'm like, wow, look at that.
That is so much better than mine. That is such a cute story.
It's just so weird. Like, I'm like, what did and I messaged her about it, and I was like, only you liked it. So awesome. And she's like, what's even cool about this photo? What are you talking about? I was like, I have no idea. Obviously, in March on 2012, I thought it was really cool to see rocks while hiking because obviously rocks are cool.
Were you guys best friends at the time, or were you dating?
We weren't dating. I think that's when our friendship like literally just started, like
Oh,
getting to know each other. And I just met her probably a few months earlier than that.
he was a supportive friend.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's when Instagram like literally just came out. I forget when it came out, but it just started not too long ago before that because my friend was like, "Hey, there's this cool app. You like post pictures on it, and like everyone sees what you're doing." I'm like, "Well, that's really cool." And I got
That
one.
was 2012. See, that's why I feel like maybe there was some ones before my dog, but I must have deleted them
Let's see, Instagram first launched.
because 2014 seems late. I remember being in early high school.
Public on Apple. Oh, in 2010. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so there may have been earlier ones.
Oh, wait. No, because even if
Well,
I
you may
go
have
into
not.
my archives, I don't know, but poor little Buster.
Oh, that's why I got it in 2000. Okay, now it makes sense because I started on Android and it came out on Android in 2012. So it
Came
was
out
on,
on Android before iPhone?
yes. No, it came on
What?
iPhone first in 2010.
Oh, and you were an Android guy.
Yeah, I was an Android guy, and then
Uh,
I got convinced into Apple, and I just never turned back. Anyway, we can go on tangents about personal life stuff. So yes, so we're going to talk about social media and how we think about it influences people in a good way and a bad way, and how we use it really to pretty much help educate people. So I
yeah,
know if anyone follows Amanda or I, we try to put out as much educational information as we can.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, we were kind of just chatting about this before we got on too, how there's even the way that we've both used Instagram has changed so much. Like we used to just post things that we were doing, like, oh, these
Yeah.
rocks are cool, or I went on this vacation, or hey, here's my dog. And now, like, I rarely, I'll post some things on my story every now and then, but it's really just used more for business now.
Mhm.
And I gotta be honest, I kind of like it better that way.
Same.
You
I
know, I
really
just,
do.
yeah, it kind of started to feel silly after a while.
Mhm. I really enjoy it for business purposes. I also like it because I connect with a lot of people through the business that way, and it's a nice
Yeah.
way to connect with others. Like
Yes.
connected with a lot of other business owners and a lot of other awesome people in fitness, wellness, rehab world. I mean, a part of like us getting to know each other, besides being in person every so often, was through Instagram of just posting things.
Totally agree. And I know that's always like making it a community on there.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
number one intention with my Instagram and how I use it is just like a space for like-minded people to come
Mhm.
and to, get content that is helpful for them
Yeah.
and benefits them. And then also too, then I get to meet people that value the same things as me. Like what's better
Yeah,
than that?
exactly. That's the best feeling in the world when people
Yeah.
of like-mindedness, like you said, come together, or they just kind of like what you have to say and they enjoy your spin on it. Because there's a million other people that are probably saying the same thing you are. You just have a different spin. Your tone of voice is a little bit different. The way you phrase it may hit home with them more.
Hmm.
So phrased by other people. And I think like I heard a while back someone saying like you got to treat it as a business. And
Yeah.
before it was like before like thinking of it, using it for the business, it's like that's true. That's right. Like you can treat it as a business. Like you can make so many good connections on there. Where at first I was like, oh, like no one cares. Like it doesn't matter. Like who am I to put stuff out there?
Yeah.
You know, that whole wonderful imposter syndrome and all that stuff
Yeah.
you all struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember that a ton when I first started posting for business. Like, I had gone from just using it as a regular profile to using it for business. And I think that it was before I even created my State Fit one. I just kind of started to do it more on my
Hmm.
personal. Um, and oh, the imposter syndrome was so real. I would post one thing and then I'd wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, oh my God, I need to take it down. I can't believe I posted that.
Did you
I
ever
had like
take anything
crippling
down?
anxiety at 2 o'clock in the morning
That's not
about
good.
a post.
Not good at all. Did you ever take
No.
anything down though? Okay, good. Because you never should. Don't do
Oh
it.
no, that has no, it's not happen anymore. That was so long ago. Um, but I
That's
remember like it was just because I was inspired by other people at the time that I followed in the fitness industry. And I
yeah.
was like, I want to do that too. Like that's awesome. Like just knowing how they had helped me and like putting that out there for them too.
Yes.
Um,
Because you think of
yeah,
a
that was say it again.
no, you think of a network. Not everyone follows the same people. And it makes you realize like how big the world is, but also how small the world is at the same time. Like there's some people like, hey, do you follow this person? I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
But it's like a huge person in the world of, we'll say, like rehab or fitness. And it's like, I don't know who that is. But I follow that person who is like partners with that person. But
Yeah.
like it makes you show like the world's huge at the same time, but it's also so small.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And
wait a
here you
second.
are like bringing new ideas to your community.
Yeah. And you
And
may
that's
learn stuff from other people, like you just said, where I people helped me through my fitness journey with this stuff. I've learned a little bit more as well. Let me say what they say and expand on it, or just give my community what they say, because you share a bunch of great stuff too of other people that influence you and what they talk about. And it's very similar to you, it's just a different tone or a
yeah.
different way to phrase it,
Yeah.
which is what
Yeah, totally.
we keep
Yeah.
it
I
for
think that
next week.
there's honestly there's a lot of benefits to social media.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that my brother and I were having a really interesting conversation. This
Yeah.
is kind of taking a turn, but we're talking about social media and just like the benefits and cons to it. Because the other side of this is obviously everyone knows that it can be um too
Not,
much to be
yes.
consuming all of that
Mhm.
all the time and to
Yeah.
also have this look into everyone's best moments. Like,
Mhm.
on my personal Instagram, I'm really just following other people that are posting their personal lives, which when you're
Yeah.
constantly seeing other people posting like the good things happening in their life,
Yeah.
is that really what you want to see when maybe you're not when you're not in a good headspace? Like, is that really what's going to help? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that's where, like, remember, it's a tool, use it like one.
Mhm.
Be careful with what you're consuming. Like, is it making you feel good? I would always ask myself that after I got off scrolling, like, do I feel better right now or do I feel worse?
Yeah.
And if the answer was worse, okay, I'm not going to keep doing that.
Mhm.
There's no point to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and then, too, like, this is like going back 3 years. I can't even, 3 years ago, probably, where I would go to bed scrolling and wake up and scroll. Like,
Mhm.
I cannot even fathom
Yeah.
doing that now. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just sounds miserable to me, but I know that there's so many people that, still do that.
Mhm.
And, again, depending on what they're consuming, I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess it might not be that bad, but at the same time, I read this quote one time where this guy said, "You're letting, a million people into your bedroom when you do that. Do you really want that?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "No, I don't."
I actually don't want that at all.
Yeah,
That's a wild thought.
this is my peace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And you're right. It could be good, it could be bad. We've talked about this too before. Is it true there's studies that like you shouldn't be scrolling on your phone and whatever it is. And it's kind of there's some good at one, some studies that say you shouldn't, some that say it dissipates after 15 minutes, like the blue light and all that stimulation. But the question is it like, do you want that? Are you
Yeah,
just doing it because you're bored and you should be sleeping? Or could you
right.
be reading? Could you be doing something that like, is it really in
Right.
this?
Like, honestly, I'm a science person, but screw the studies in that aspect. If you don't
Yeah,
feel good after doing it, don't do it. Like, there's
exactly.
no
If you're just in a state of, that's where we're going to go with this. Like the negative things of it is like, if you're going on there and all you see is things that make you feel bad about where you are in life,
Yeah.
one, you can easily, the nice thing about it too is you can easily just unfollow all those people and follow people that make you feel good about your life.
Mhm.
But if you're on there and you're constantly just like, I see this person, they're 10 steps ahead of me in business, but we're the same age. I see this person, they're the body fat I want. I'll never get there. Like it's making you develop this negative connotation of your life. It's not serving you in a good way.
Yeah.
There's a pitfall where it comes to it where, and I hear it is people like people that have said they take a break from social media. They're like, I was just in a state of comparison all the time. Well, that's not good.
Right. And that causes such dissatisfaction with your
Yes.
own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The grass is not always greener. The grass is
Mhm.
greener where you water it. I hear that
Yeah.
saying all the time, but it's true. Like if you're scrolling constantly and looking at other people's lives of things you want, but you're not realizing like, hey, I got it pretty good, and it's just making you
Right.
negative all the time. That's something that's not ideal about that, where you look at other people and you're like, and don't get me wrong, there's sometimes we all compare ourselves to people. Someone else that I know is doing something similar to I am, and they're better at it. I'm like, well, that makes me feel pretty. I'm like, come on, I should be able to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe not. Maybe they're putting in more effort than I am. Maybe they're genetically better at whatever it is. That's okay. But if I constantly consume that negativity, I'm going to just stop my goals and stop chasing after my goals because I'm like, well, I'll never be where that person is because they're already ahead of me. And then it's like chasing a moving target, and I don't want to do that.
You know what it's like? It's like if you're trying to cut out sugar or
Hmm.
reduce sugar, but
Hmm.
keeping a plate of cookies right in the middle of your island,
Yes.
and then having to go walk into your kitchen and every single time go through the same mental thing. I don't actually want the cookie right now. I want to remember my goals. Like,
Hmm.
how, like, that's exhausting. Just don't
Yeah.
put the cookies there. Like,
Just easy enough. Like there's
right.
a wonderful book. If anyone gets a chance to read it, not sponsored by this book at all. Atomic Habits changed my life.
Yeah.
Told everybody ever that was like, oh, like any books, Atomic Habits. Very, very good self-help book. But he says that if you want to truly change a habit, the easiest way is to take the stimulus of the habit out of yourself. So don't put the cookies there if you want to cut out sugar. It's
Right.
simple. If it's making you feel terrible and making you not do or stay on your path, then that's not helping you. Like if you follow all these
Yeah.
shredded people and you're just on a weight loss journey to get healthy, all you're seeing is people with 4%, 6% body fat. You're not seeing like just people generally trying to be healthy. So,
Right.
well, I'm never going to get there because you just started your fitness journey. Well, you don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point too. Like, even in the fitness realm, like, I've always found the accounts that have helped me the most are the ones that are giving me education
Mhm.
and giving like their content is directed to me versus not necessarily their journey because I don't think that's all bad either when people do share their journey,
Yeah. Yeah.
but um it's it's also still content that's for me that's going, that's helping me and that's helping me learn more about myself.
Yeah. Well, and that's where when you say the journey, it's not so bad to share the journey. It's not because your journey can inspire somebody to be like, okay, they were once there and I look up to, let's say there's a younger Amanda out there that's 18 years old that struggled exactly like you did at Penn State in college and did all that stuff, like crazy, whatever it was, workouts, all this stuff. And they're like, well, look at her now. She's a successful business owner. She's doing great. She's crushing it. Like, I can be there. But that's sharing your story, and that's where it comes good to. But you're educating us along the way. Like, she's learning about herself. You're like, here's my story. Here's how things you can do to help yourself, like the recent post about how to improve your digestion. So you're feeding both. You're giving a background of your story as well as here's practical tips of education of how to help yourself, not just here's my story and it's all about me. And,
Right.
like don't worry, you'll get there. Like, well, here's some practical things that can help
Well,
you
how
get
am I going to get there? Right, exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think people fall once again. A lot of people struggle because they fall in between. They know where they're starting and they know where they want to end, but there's that
They
huge
don't
gap.
know what to do in the middle.
Yes, and we've
Yeah.
talked about that before, and that's where like you can get lost up in social media as a entertainment tool
Hmm.
where, and I don't think entertainment's the right term here, but you get lost in like watching these things and you see people that are starting with you and then you see people where you want to be. And a lot of people tend to follow the people that they want to be like,
Hmm.
not the people that are like them.
Hmm.
But they get lost in the middle because they're like, all right, I'm this and I want to be there like so and so.
Hmm.
But now there's no one telling me the path in between or what it feels like or what's supposed to be normal. Are you supposed to have these down moments of imposter syndrome? Are you supposed to have these
Hmm.
moments where you can't literally you're freaking out because you can't train as the way you want to, or like you missed a day? Are you supposed to have these moments where you're not training every day? Like you're
Yeah.
lost. And that's
Yeah.
that's happening to you. Social media may not be being used as a tool.
Right. Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of inspiration in that too.
Hmm.
I know, especially when I went through you know, I follow a lot of people that have gone through similar hormone journeys as I have.
Yeah.
And it has helped tremendously because it's just nice to connect with other people that truly understand what it
Yeah.
is that you went through.
Yes. That's where like we're saying it can build a community. And others
Right.
that have gone
Exactly.
through it. And you'll be surprised too. I'm always amazed when like I just randomly message somebody that has like a huge following and they get back to you and I'm like and they're like and it just makes you feel good. You're like, ah, yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But you can connect with people, like you're saying, people have that similar journeys than you. And it's
Yeah.
like, hey, like I've connected to so many people through this, just following other people and just getting to know other people through that, where it's like I've made some great connections with people. It's just like someone tagged somebody in a post of mine.
Hmm.
And it's like, hey, like I like this part of this. And it's like, oh yeah, like so do I. Like, and then I like,
Yeah.
oh, I like this. Like you start to pick up what you like and you can use it to help yourself. And you can use it as a great way to make yourself feel better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You'll find other people that like the same things as you, that do the same things as you. You'll get inspiration to do other things. For example, if you're like an avid hiker, you follow a bunch of hiking things, lo and behold,
Right.
find a new trail that you want to try.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, what did people do without social media?
Yeah, exactly. Because some people use it mainly to find things.
Hmm.
Like I know people use it for recipes. You post recipes on there. People find it like they don't use. I don't know if Pinterest is as big. I'm sure it's still big, but you know,
Yeah.
people still use like they follow these accounts where people just make recipes, like how to
Right.
make
It's
good,
convenient.
yeah,
Yeah.
convenient,
Absolutely.
tasty recipes. It's easy. You're probably going to be on there anyway. So you can really use social media as a tool to make your life and make your searches a little bit easier and more enjoyable. I think our main takeaway, something we want people to understand though, is it really serving you in a good way?
Right, exactly. And I think too, we often forget that we have control over who we follow.
Yeah, that right there in itself is a huge part of what people forget. You
Right.
don't have to follow. If you don't want to follow your friends because all they do is piss you off,
You
well,
can
what?
mute them or
Yeah,
you can do something, right?
yeah. You
Yeah,
keep
I think it's
that
so
it won't show
important
up.
to use things like that. Like if you
Yeah,
need to set that boundary for yourself, do it. Like
yes.
no one
If,
cares.
if there's someone that you have to tolerate, but you just don't want to see anything, just mute it
Yeah,
and follow them. You know what?
right.
Like it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
No, I think people truly do forget that, to be honest with you. People really
Yeah.
do. I forget that. Like, why do I still follow?
Now, no, I know. I know. Something else that I found interesting too, once I reduced a lot of my scrolling time, was the time I had to myself.
Hmm.
And I
Improve.
was like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden now I'm really getting to know Amanda. Like,
Yeah.
and I think
Man,
that
it is.
but how often do people really spend time alone, especially with phones and social media? Like
Yeah.
how often is someone truly alone?
Hmm. You're right. I mean, probably not often.
Yeah, and I just think it's such an important part of health. Like I just know that that is something that has always helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
even through like because you think about it, number one reason that people don't reach their goals always comes back to mindset, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you're never giving yourself a chance to get to know your beliefs and change those beliefs and, kind of spend time with yourself and understand yourself, how the heck are you ever going to change them? Like,
Yeah.
you
How?
know?
You don't know, and I told many people this. It's okay to be bored.
Right. It's the best thing.
It's okay. Boredom actually is a good thing, but
Yeah.
we don't like that feeling of being bored because it's like we should be in the go, go, go mindset. We should be doing something. So what do? We pull out our phone and start scrolling.
Hmm.
And, you know, you can use many excuses. Like sometimes, honestly, I scroll for like 30, 45 minutes on Reels, and I'm like, well, I'm just getting inspiration for like other ideas or sounds that I want to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always ways to justify it. But at a certain point, you have to sit back and be like, was I really using it for,
Yeah.
or was I just sitting there looking at funny reels and sending them all to my cousin and we're cracking up about them? Which
Yeah.
is also fine because it's making me laugh, which is okay.
Right.
But there's that point where you should also, if you're sitting around and you're just like, all right, I'm bored, let me just scroll on my phone. Well, take a minute. Maybe like just hang out,
Yeah. Like if you're
watch
at
TV.
work and you have a minute between meetings, try
Yeah.
not to grab your phone and just like
Yes.
spend a couple moments by yourself,
Hmm.
take a couple deep breaths.
Yeah.
I
W-
think,
we need to do that. We need
yeah.
to be present in the moment. And we're not saying like you need to sit in silence. The the prime example is I think people have seen it. It's like you put on Netflix as background noise while you scroll your phone.
Yeah.
Like why not just watch Netflix or scroll your
Yeah.
phone? Pick one.
Right.
You don't need
It's
the
like
background noise.
ultimate distraction from everything.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
distraction from a distraction because the point of decompressing, like putting on a TV show you're enjoying or whatever, hanging out,
Yeah.
you guys want to watch this, is to decompress.
Right.
But then if you're just pulling out your phone to scroll as your form of decompression, that's fine too, but maybe just be involved in a certain moment
Right. And I
of
think that
whatever
that's
that is.
a whole nother conversation, even like going into rest and the different types of rest that we need.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, you might be resting physically or not moving your body, but are you resting up here?
yeah,
Like, this is what we want to focus on. This
yeah,
is what we got to talk about.
yes.
Because it's the overthinking,
Hmm.
it's the, limiting beliefs, like it's all those things that are draining your energy,
Hmm.
putting you in fight or flight.
Yeah,
It's not that, most people are not physically putting themselves in fight or flight all day
no,
long. Most people are
no,
sitting down and it's all coming from up here.
yeah. Uh, yes. I mean, you sit in traffic, you're in fight or flight because you're
Right.
pissed off because you're sitting in traffic.
Exactly.
But what are you gonna do? We literally had this conversation two
Oh, we
minutes.
have it all the time. We have it all the
Well,
time.
I
We
know,
always
but
get
we
back
came
here
on before.
somehow.
You were like, "You're never stressed." I was like, "Oh, I am,"
Yeah.
but
Oh,
it's
yeah. 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 Yeah.
but it comes down to, do I want to get myself in fight or flight? Obviously, I don't say that to myself. It's like, can I control the situation or not?
Right.
Can't control the situation. Why am I gonna freak out?
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do? You're stuck in traffic. Could you have left 10 minutes earlier? Of course you could have, but you didn't. You're stuck in there. Deal with it. If you're going to be late for the meeting, send an email. You're stuck in traffic. The nice thing is voice to text. Send an email to somebody. Send a text message like, "Hey, 5 minutes behind. Sorry." Whatever it was. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, stuck in traffic and I was 5 minutes late for an appointment, for my own appointment. And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." Like I messaged him. I'm probably gonna be 10 minutes late because I looked at the GPS. He was like, "Yeah, me too." It's like, "Oh, cool. Look at that."
I
uh,
love when that happens. I'm like,
right.
great. So we all just collectively decided that we would all be late.
Exactly. It was a wonderful experience. But you want to be present in those moments and not, like Amanda said, your brain controls a lot. So you're decompressing at the end of the day and you're on your phone scrolling the whole time, which is, if that's what you want to do, great. But the content you're absorbing then, is it stuff that's pissing you off? Are you mad because so and so posted something about you because
Hmm.
they're talking negative about you and now you're pissed off? Now your whole decompression went out the window and now you're in fight or flight again.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, was that worth? Did you need to do
Yeah.
that?
Or you're like I've done this before too in the past where I'm hung up on how I look in a particular picture and I'm like, oh, I can't believe that's on the internet. Like, and all this silliness
Yes.
for
This,
what? Like,
yes. So that's it. It's like, what is? we're pretty much saying like, what are you using social media for? Keep up with your friends. I think it's a great tool to do that too. But if all your first of all, question your friendships. If everything keeping up with them pisses you off about them, that's a whole other story. So, like if you don't want to see them succeeding, that's maybe you should question your friendships and stuff. But besides that, you gotta sit there and look and be like, okay, what am I looking at on social media? Do I follow some of these entertainment accounts? That's great. Keeps you happy, you know? It's entertainment. But same like all entertainment, you don't need it 24/7.
Mhm.
You don't get to sit down and watch TV and watch your favorite show 24/7. No, you have other things you need to do.
Mhm.
What else are you looking at it for? If you're using it as a tool for recipes, that's awesome. But you want to make sure that you're not consuming things that are just going to, one, piss you off for no reason, because you can easily control that. You know, you don't have to follow these people that annoy you.
Right.
And if you like to do that, you're a glutton for punishment. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
That's on you. You got to do some soul searching on that one. But when what we want people to understand is how to use it effectively as an educational tool or like something you want to enjoy. Like I said, there's entertainment purposes. Amanda and I post educational stuff to help people feel better. You know, maybe you're feeling like, you should follow accounts that, like, I know a bunch of people follow each other just because they're friends and they love seeing each other's and the powerlifting where they love seeing each other's lifts. And because they don't always get to work together, but they
Oh,
post their
yeah.
lift and boom. It's like, yeah, great lift. Awesome. Dude, that's a community. That's great. That's
Yeah.
what we want. You want that stuff. That's not gonna make you feel bad.
Right. Right, exactly. It's a tool. It comes down to how you use it. And
Hmm.
I think the number one question to ask yourself after you finish scrolling is, do I feel good right now?
Hmm.
Or do
Do I
I
feel bad?
feel worse? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And to be
exactly.
fair, most times I feel pretty decent. I don't really, I mean, maybe because I don't follow things I don't want to follow anymore. I'm sure if I scrolled through my personal account, maybe things would change. Because I haven't looked at who I follow anymore on that and stuff. But on my business account, I don't feel that bad. Whether it's using it, like I say, quote unquote, for research purposes, or I'm just sending funny reels to people, which makes me laugh as well. I'm still happy at the end of the day with
Yeah.
it. But you're right. I
Sometimes I gotta be careful with my business account because even though I do like scrolling on there, because obviously I love who I follow,
Yeah.
um, then I go into like work mode in my head because I'm like, find something and then I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And then I'm like down a
Yeah.
rabbit hole of something and I'm like, this isn't relaxing, Amanda. Let's put it away.
Yes. Well, that's the factor of it. Are
Right.
you relaxing from it? Maybe not. That's where like the entertainment part of social media helps. Like,
Hmm.
it's relaxing. Is it cracking you up? I mean, there's sometimes I find a reel and I'll literally be like snorting from and laughing so
Yeah,
hard from
there's some funny people out there.
it. I know the internet is filled with amazing fun
Yeah.
people. And Leanne will just look over me like, "You're right." I'm like, "I gotta send you this," and then she watches it and she doesn't laugh
She
at
doesn't
all.
laugh.
And I'm like, "Are you? How do you not find this fun? This is
Okay,
hilarious."
sometimes I feel like it's like if you're in a certain scroll and you're watching similar videos, it's 10 times funnier, but like if you
Yes.
send it to someone outside of that who's not
Mhm.
doing that, they don't
Yeah.
laugh as hard. But you
No.
gotta be like in that mode, I think.
I 100% agree. It was the
Yeah.
same with you've definitely been there where you had a sleepover with your friend or at a friend's house and you guys started laughing about who knows what. But anything that happened after that was just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
like
like this
something
yeah.
dumb.
It's
Yeah.
like the SpongeBob episode where he says, "Patrick, I got a funny number." And he's like, 25. And then And then they start cracking up, and then the next one he's like, "I got even funnier, 27." And like they
Yeah.
just keep going because you're like your dopamine and your receptors, like anything at that point is
Yeah,
fun.
what's the science behind that?
I'm not sure. I think it's kind of like, is it maybe like yawning? You know how yawning's contagious because you see that person yawn, you're like,
I
oh,
almost
so
just yawned because you said yawning.
that's the weird thing about yawning. It's crazy. Um, but that's what we're trying to say here is you can use social media to relax yourself, have a good time, enjoy. It's not bad. Almost like anything Amanda and I have has said, there's no real bad or good. It's what you're getting out of it. If you're in
Mhm.
a constant state of comparison the whole entire time while you're on there, this girl looks better than me. This guy's faster than me. This guy's stronger than me.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't think we realize we're doing it either.
Yes. No, exactly.
Yeah.
But you can take a second, like you said, I love that. Stop for a second when you're done and say, am I happy?
Right.
Or am I angry now? And I want to put my phone away. Like if
Yeah.
you have to like,
Or am I just unsettled? Like you might not even feel jealous, angry, anything like that. You might just be a little unsettled.
Mhm.
Like, and then trial and error with some other things. Like if I put my phone away during this time and I, maybe do like a little meditation, how do I feel after that?
Yeah, yeah, or go for a walk, or
Or
you
go
know,
for a walk, right? Exactly. Go outside, get some
yeah,
sunshine.
yeah,
What feels better? Yeah.
exactly.
Our body and mind will always give us the answer. All
Yeah,
the things we're
well,
looking for.
we
Yeah.
can we can help ourselves with it. So I think this was a wonderful conversation, Amanda. To wrap it up, I really think we can use social media in a good way. Just don't be your own, like anything. Don't be your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself feel worse by going and following things that make you annoyed or whatever it is. Just follow the people you want to follow. Remember that you can unfollow people. Use it to serve you, not to take away from you.
Facts.
Yes. That is the ultimate takeaway right there is use social media to serve you for the purposes you want, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's entertainment, whatever it may be. Do that and you'll be much happier. And don't think of it as anything that's negative in that aspect. If you're realizing that it's not making you feel good, you either change who you follow, start a whole new account, or just delete it. No one's forcing you on the app.
Right. Yeah. I've done
You know?
that for periods of time too.
Yeah. A lot of people
Always
go through that. They're
nice.
like, I'm just gonna do a detox. And then I'm like,
It's
okay.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it
Do it.
does.
Uh-huh.
I've never done one. No, actually, no,
Try
I did.
it.
I've done one actually. I did a
Okay. For the sake of this podcast, you have to try one. And the next time we film, you're going to tell us how it was.
it's gonna be hard because of business purposes.
A day?
Oh, a day. Yeah, I could easily do that. I did that the other day. I did that on
Oh.
Tuesday.
Okay. Then 2 days.
I don't know about that.
No?
All right, we'll see. I'm saying
Okay.
though, I did a full like hiatus from I want to say when I graduated grad school in 2016 till about 2018. I stopped all social media use. I wouldn't go on, delete the apps. Leanne used to get mad. She's like, would you just use it? And then the only time when I started using it again is when I started the business.
Mm,
Because Leanne
makes
forced me to
sense.
start using it again. She's like, you need to make a social media. I was like, I don't want to. So I
Yeah.
did do like a full on like crazy cleanse, but it was part of because that I was using it and there was a bunch of stuff on my personal account of people I follow and I wouldn't stop following them. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it would just annoy me. I was like, I don't want to be involved. I don't know why I'm even looking at this anymore. I don't
Yeah.
care. It was my values changed at that time. I wasn't into being a fitness model anymore. I was focused on physical therapy, but all the stuff I followed back then, I didn't really think like this process through. I was like, just screw it. I'll just not use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, but to go what Amanda said, if you do want to try doing like a day or two, just seeing how you feel, another one you could do is just turn off notifications just so you're not always checking it. Because a
Mm,
lot of times what happens is we see a notification, someone sends us something, then we get sucked into the reels and whatever because we start scrolling. So you can turn off notifications and see how that feels. So then you're only going there for when you want to, and that may serve you better because you actually are intentionally trying to go onto the whatever social media account you're using, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is, intentionally doing that. And then it may make you feel different as opposed to getting sucked in and just realizing I didn't want to see any of that stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda. Another great conversation. And to everyone out there, if you're listening on Spotify, rate us, tell your friends. Apple, same thing, rate us, tell your friends. If you happen to watch on YouTube, you can leave comments below. Let us know what you think. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.